Well, sometimes the new vintage computers boot and sometimes they don't. But a boo bip coming from a beeb can only mean one thing. Okay, we've got a runner, but it's not a clean one. There are a few dead keys, the case is grimy, and there's enough dust inside to start a new desert. Let's clean it up and give this little master compact a little love. Welcome back to Earie's 8-Bit Workshop. Today we're diving into something a little unusual from Acorn, the BBC Master Compact. Now if you've followed Acorn's line of machines, the story goes something like this. They started with the system computers in the late 1970s, bare bones, modular, and definitely for the technically minded. Then came the Atom, a more complete home computer that set the stage for what was to come next, the BBC Micro, Model A and B, the machines that filled British classrooms and gave a generation their first taste of computer programming. The Master series came later, refining the design. Faster, more memory and more polish. But the BBC Master Compact? Well, this one's a bit of an oddball. At first glance, it looks like a traditional PC. You've got the main chassis and a separate keyboard. But here's the twist. The entire computer is actually inside the keyboard. The main box is actually just a power supply and a disk drive. The keyboard is where the magic happens. CPU, RAM, ROM, video circuitry, everything is housed within the keyboard. That startup tone never gets old, but even now the case is grimy and a few keys aren't responding. Let's see what's inside. Oh dear, there's a rattle. That doesn't look good. C1, the infamous RIFA suppression capacitor, has exploded. Definitely not a polite pop. More like a small demolition. Here's some tips if you have to redo your PSU. Take multiple photographs documenting the polarity of each electrolytic capacitor. Draw a quick diagram of the capacitor positions. Take the power supply out of the chassis. Then clean the PSU board. Then desolder and remove the blown RIFA and all of the electrolytic capacitors. Once all of the capacitors are out, you may need to clean the board again. Inspect for scorching. Wipe off soot off of neighbouring components. In this case, the soot's come straight off and we don't need to replace any more components. Replace the RIFA cap with a modern X2 rated safety capacitor of the same value. Replace electrolytics like for like. It's okay to replace it with a higher voltage if you can't get one of the same spec. I'll test the fuse while we're here. Yep, looks okay. Let's get rid of all of this fluff and dust. I'm using IPA and a paper towel to wipe everything down. And now the PSU can go back into the case. Once done, I'll place a label inside. Recapped November 25 Earie Salmon. Future me and future owners will at least know when the system was recapped. Let's move over to the keyboard unit. Oh wow, the dust bunnies have staged a full-scale invasion here. Some of these keys look like they survived a dystopian landfill, or at least decades of snack crumb finger fallout.
Remove the keyboard and motherboard from the case. Vacuum the system board and the base unit interior. Detail the board with IPA and cotton buds, trying to get all the dirt out from the various nooks and crannies. Clean the base unit PCB and the PSU with IPA. Remove the keycaps from the keyboard. There is so much dirt, fluff, and legends of lunches past in here, it's incredible, and strangely small pieces of grass. And then we wash the case shells and all the keycaps in the sink with washing up liquid and a toothbrush. Then rinse and dry thoroughly. It looks much better. Once dry, they actually look fantastic. There's no yellowing, so no retrobrite is needed. Replace the keycaps. Reinstall the board and keyboard back into the case. The speaker seems to be held in by a piece of double-sided tape. I'll use the same thing. And we are done with the keyboard unit. Before we power on, I'll test the voltage on our newly refurbished power supply. We should see 5 volts. And yes, we do. Excellent. Connect the monitor, PSU, power on. The boot screen looks great, Acorn moss. Let's try the keyboard keys out and work out which ones are dead. The key switches in the master compactor are actually very serviceable. To clean them, you first of all remove the keycap. Then you lever out one side of the grey block. Hold it steady, then lever out the other side of the grey block. It then lifts free of the keyboard mechanism. Use tweezers to remove the rubber dome. Clean the contacts inside the switch with contact cleaner and a cotton bud. And clean the underside of the rubber dome. Reinsert the dome. Test with the butt end of the tweezers. Once it's working reliably, push the grey block back in. And replace the keycap. Job done. Right, 15 more to do. One of the tricky things to test are the keys that don't produce an output. Well, BBC systems have programmable F keys. You can program each of them to emulate a sequence of key presses. So let's program each of them, and then we can verify that all the F keys function correctly. Okay, we've got the system back together. Let's try putting in the welcome disc. Oh, well, that's not very good, is it? Let's open the floppy drive and see what's going on. And here's our problem right there. A huge chunk of the blown RIFA capacitor inside the drive. We need to clean all the heads with IPA and cotton buds, remove all the fragments and the fine debris. And here is another chunk of dead capacitor. That really did fragment, didn't it? I'll test it first on a blank disk just to see if it formats. Well, that seems to have worked. Okay, let's try the welcome disk. Ah, perfect. Okay, let's reassemble and give it a proper test. Okay, this is the welcome disk booted. So apparently we use the arrow keys to move ourselves around the window. We have no mouse, and it doesn't support one even if we did. Okay, let's try graphics and castle. Huh. Wow. This is really cool. Alright, what should we try next? Let's try a game, an arcade game. Oh, it's like Centipede. I remember games like this. This one is hard. Wow, I don't know if these are mushrooms or undersea mushrooms by the looks of it. I don't know. But crikey, there are a lot of them. This makes it very difficult. Oh, lovely.
Retro magic fully restored. And there we have it, recapped, cleaned and free of decades worth of finger dust fossils. Thanks for joining me on this BBC Master Compact adventure where retro lives, solder flows and sometimes even dirt tells a story. We'll see you next time on Earie's 8-Bit Workshop. See ya.